We'll go back to that story about need, but there's some breaking news coming in from the Supreme Court. Nupur Sharma, the former spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, has approached the Supreme Court challenging the observations against her by the Supreme Court judges. Ananya Bhatnagar is with me. Ananya, it has taken some time for Nupur to come to this decision, but what exactly does her petition say?
According to our sources, because the petition could not have been accessed since the last order was very critical of Nupur Sharma, the lawyers.
The last order was very critical of Nupur Sharma, the lawyers are very critical of not sharing these petitions. The sources have clearly told us that Nupur Sharma has again knocked the top court, challenging the observations that have been made by the Supreme Court vacation bench against her, wherein it had called her, in fact, it had blamed her for the whole Udaipur violence. In fact, she has also knocked the doors with the same prayer of clubbing of all those 9 FIRs registered against her in not only West Bengal, not only in the national capital, but also in the state of Maharashtra and other states. Remember that she had knocked the doors of the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court had made these blasting observations against her, also blaming her for in fact the Udaipur violence and killings, and also in fact saying that she has a very loose tongue which has set the whole country on fire. So now clearly a legal move coming in from Nupur Sharma, challenging all these observations and again knocking the topmost court of the country. The petition has been filed in fact in the Supreme Court, and we'll have to wait and watch as to whether urgent mentioning of this matter takes place tomorrow morning or not. That would be very, very clear after the mentioning list of the Chief Justice of India's court is out tomorrow morning. And also we can see that urgent hearing in this matter is awarded by the Chief Justice of India's bench after an urgent mentioning takes place. Remember that the legal team remains the same, and we might see that senior advocate Maninder Singh comes up again to argue for Nupur Sharma, because it is the same advocate who has filed the petition earlier as well. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out, but definitely a strong legal move coming in from Nupur Sharma's legal team, and we'll have to wait and find. It's a matter of time as to what the Supreme Court's new bench would say on her petition.
Ananya, yes. 2 things. One, you're saying this will be a new bench, so that information is already in public domain. 2, there were multiple letters written to the Chief Justice of India earlier too by people in public life saying that the comment or the observations by the judges was not in bad taste. But those letters were not converted into petitions. No cognizance was taken, right?
Well, yes, definitely no cognizance of those letters were taken, and it was not even necessary. Today, a new bench would be formed because that was a vacation bench that was hearing the matter. And now, since the judges are sitting as per their roster, the Supreme Court is into its full functioning. The Chief Justice of India would now give out this petition as per the roster to a bench suitable to hear this matter. And we'll have to wait and watch as to which bench would be hearing this matter now, because as far as we can see the case status on the Supreme Court website, it doesn't mention a bench clearly, because the petition has been filed today itself. The filing date says 18th of July. So we'll have to wait a bit as to when this matter comes up before the court, but definitely we might expect urgent mentioning taking place from Nupur Sharma's legal team tomorrow morning. And we can expect that the Supreme Court also assigns a bench very soon into this matter.
Very quickly, Ananya, this charge will be levelled, I'm presuming by advocates, this charge or this question, whether Nupur Sharma was bench hunting.
Well, definitely not. Nupur Sharma was not at all bench hunting, because remember that when Nupur Sharma had earlier filed this petition, the Supreme Court was on vacations, and it was the vacation bench which was hearing the matter. And now, since the full court is in functioning, it is only and only to the Chief Justice of India to assign a bench to this matter. So there is no chance that an allegation of bench hunting can be levelled against her. And remember that this move coming in time, but it is not against the limitation period, because remember, whenever such a plea has been filed, there is a limitation period given to any kind of petitioner to in fact approach or exercise another legal remedy. Because remember, when the Supreme Court had dismissed the petition earlier as well, it has asked Nupur Sharma to go out and seek for other legal remedies. Now, what had happened is that since it was the observation of the topmost court of the country, it would be very, very difficult for the lower courts to give out a observation or a relief to Nupur Sharma, because the observations would come into the way of any of the judge who would be touching this matter. So now Nupur Sharma has again come before the topmost court of the country, and we might see that a different bench hears this matter, and Nupur Sharma might get some relief, or what would happen is a matter of time and a matter of hearing that
Right.
takes place in the Supreme Court later.
Let me also bring in Maria Shakil. Maria, as far as political support to Nupur Sharma is concerned, even though action was taken against her by the Bharatiya Janata Party, there was a lot of support from her from the core constituency of the Bharatiya Janata Party. They wanted these comments to be expunged, and now Nupur has taken that legal step.
Yes, Arunima, and 15 High Court judges, 77 former IAS officers and 25 veterans, all of them had said that this was unfortunate and unprecedented, that the highest court in the country had perhaps crossed that Lakshman Rekha in that observation and what was seen as transgression. So they had said that this was really not needed, it was unprecedented, and they should revisit their own comments or observation, because these were oral observations which are not really part of the order. So what does it actually mean in terms of, will it really influence the trial if Nupur Sharma were to go for, if the trial was to begin in these cases? So a lot of questions were raised, particularly when those oral observations were made. But I think the lawyers who are advising Nupur, she herself is a lawyer, they decided that it is the need of the hour for her to really ensure that all those observations which have been made against her, in which the court had said that she was singularly responsible for the entire volatile situation in the country. She was the one after, because of her comments, there have been several incidents, be it Udaipur or Amravati. Hence, there is need for the court to revisit its comments or observations. Will the apex court be doing that? That remains to be seen. But the larger question before the Chief Justice would be the nature of this bench. Will it be a 3-judge bench, Arunima, or the nature of the bench? That remains to be seen, because the realm of these observations, because these are oral observations, not part of an order, that is the reason why we'll wait and see as to how the entire legal proceedings move from here onwards.
Right. But as far as political ramifications of this move is concerned, how do you see that?
Anuma, politically speaking, we did see, opposition come out all guns blazing in favor of what the apex court had observed. The BJP on its part was silent. They had chosen not to really engage on this because they realize that it could go into the domain of contempt of court. But the fact that several eminent citizens had written a letter to the Chief Justice of India, although that did not really mean some kind of suo motu cognizance by the apex court, it was more of these citizens seeing this as some kind of crossing of the Lakshman Rekha. So she did get that kind of support. But the larger observation of the apex court did move in that direction, which was questioned by several former judges as well.
Right. And also politically speaking, Maria, the fact that, the apex court was giving such strong observations had also subjected the Bharatiya Janata Party and Nupur specifically to a lot of attacks from the opposition. Parliament is in session. This issue will continue to dominate every time speakers come out and speak. So in that background also, even though it has nothing to do with the judicial process, in that backdrop also, this is a significant move.
Yes, absolutely. And I think because these were oral observations, most MPs in opposition had quoted the Supreme Court to make their argument as to how events that followed after what played out in a television debate by Nupur Sharma, did she really play that role in making the situation volatile? Did she add fuel to fire? So the questions were raised. But I think what happened in the context of that letter that was written by eminent citizens becomes important, Arunima, because all of them had said that in the annals of the judiciary, I'm looking at one part of that signed statement, which they had said that it was an unfortunate comments, have no parallel and are indelible scar on the judicial system of the largest democracy. And hence there has to be efforts that should be taken for rectification of what was said. So will there be rectification, or will the Supreme Court go ahead with its oral observation, looking at perhaps it will not be withdrawing it or not revisiting it? I'm not too sure, because you have covered the courts as well. If we have seen any such petition that has been filed in the past where oral observations are being questioned by a person against whom these observations have been made.
Right. Ananya,